Hello students, welcome back. So in the last class we have discussed the applications of the Coleridge law. Okay, so now the third part of the chapter is also completed. So today we'll start with the commercial cells, that is batteries. Okay, all of you know that in our day-to-day life we are using batteries. We are using so many cells in this mobile. Battery is there, then in that camera cells are there, in watches we are using the cells, in car battery is there. So all these batteries, these are electrochemical cells. So let's see what are the commercial cells. Okay, so you can see that every electrochemical cell is a result of what? Spontaneous redox reaction. Fine, but every redox reaction, you can say, it is not considered that every electrochemical cell is not used for commercial purposes. Okay, we have studied that redox reactions, they are the basis for the electrochemical cell, but every chemical cell we cannot use for the commercial purpose. It cannot be used as a commercial cell due to the two reasons. What are the reasons? First is that we know that in electrochemical cell, salt bridge is used. This we know. Okay, salt bridge is used, which is having very high internal resistance. Okay, so after some time what happens? Voltage drops. Okay, if we suppose, because its high internal resistance is very high due to the usage of the salt bridge, so if we want to draw a large current out of it, we will not be able to use and voltage will drop. And secondly, that it is not compact or portable. Okay, means it is ruggedness. That is portable for handling. It's not easy to handle. Portable for handling. So this is due to these two reasons. Every electrochemical cell cannot be used as a commercial cell. First of all, the voltage should not drop. Okay, it is dropping due to the for usage of salt bridge. Second, it is not compact or portable, or ruggedness you can say, portable for handling. It's not easy to handle. So you can say if an electrochemical cell has to be used as a commercial cell, then it should fulfill the following condition. What are the conditions? So you can say that electrochemical cell used as a commercial cell under the following conditions. First is its voltage should not drop during its use, and secondly, it should be compact, light and portable for handling. That is ruggedness. So in order to fulfill these two conditions, okay, under these two conditions, then only the electrochemical cell will act as a commercial cell, otherwise it cannot act as a commercial cell. Now let's see the electrochemical cell. Why we are using the term battery? Okay. Batteries are the electrochemical cells which are connected in series. Okay, these are electrochemical cells connected in series. So one single cell, you can't say that it's a battery. Generally in the everyday life we are using that, just bring battery from the market. Okay, that single battery that we are using in remotes, so that is also we are using the term battery. Okay, but that is not actually a battery, because batteries consist of so many electrochemical cells which are arranged in series. So you can say, strictly speaking, the battery word for a single cell, it's not, you can say it's not correct. Okay, usage of word battery for a single electrochemical cell, it's not correct. It's not correct. So if we are using it, that is not right. Battery, it's not the correct term for a single cell. Now let's see the types of commercial cells, batteries. It is of three types. First is primary cell. Second is secondary cell. And third is fuel cell. Okay. Third is fuel. In primary cell, you will be studying about two examples are there. One is dry cell and the second is mercury cell. Here also it is of two types. One is lead cell, lead storage batteries. And the second is nickel cadmium cell. In this we'll be studying hydrogen oxygen fuel cell. Fine. So this is the classification of batteries or the commercial cells. It is of three types: primary, secondary, and fuel cells. So again it is subdividing, sub-classifying into these parts: dry cell, mercury cell, lead storage batteries, nickel cadmium cell, and then hydrogen oxygen cell. So now let's talk about primary cells. What are primary cells? As the name suggests, primary. Primary cells are those electrochemical cells. Primary cells. These are those cells which once used cannot be used, which once used cannot be used again, as it becomes dead after some time. Okay, like for example, cells used in watches. Okay, once it got, you can say, used, after again we need to replace it. Used in remote, TV remotes, etc. All these are primary cells which once used cannot be used again, so it becomes dead. So these are those cells which once used cannot be used again, as it becomes dead. It becomes dead after some time. Okay, so these are primary cells. So now let's talk about the first cell, that is dry cell. First cell is dry cell. Let's see. So first is the dry cell. It is also known as the Leclanche cell. Let's see its structure and function. Okay, before that, let's see what you have to study about the cell. For each and every cell, you will be studying all these things. For each and every electrochemical cell, that is, what is anode, then cathode, then electrolyte, then cell reactions, then its E naught, value, and then its uses. All these things will be studying. Fine. So first is primary cell, that is dry cell. First is dry cell. It is also known as Leclanche cell, also known as Leclanche cell. Okay, so let's see this cell. So this cell, it consists of zinc container. This is zinc container, acts as anode. Okay, negatively charged. Fine. And in this one rod is placed. This rod is graphite rod. Acts as the cathode. Okay, but it should not, this rod is not touching the base. It's not touching the zinc container. Now this is separated by the electrolyte. Okay, here electrolyte is filled, that is the paste of ammonium chloride plus zinc chloride. Okay, paste of this will act as the electrolyte. Fine. Then here the zinc container, it is covered with a cardboard which will protect it it should not react with the atmosphere. Okay, it is the cardboard cover. Fine. Then this graphite rod is surrounded by this is also electrolyte. Here, this is surrounded by this paste of MnO2 plus carbon. Okay, this is surrounded by this. And here the rod is sealed with this is pitch seal. Okay, and the rod is covered with the metallic cap. This is positively charged. This is metallic cap. Okay, so this is the diagram of the dry cell, which it is made up of. So let's see. Here zinc, it is made up of zinc container, fine, which is acting as the anode. And this zinc container is covered with the cardboard. We have covered with the cardboard so that it should not come in contact with the atmosphere. Then we have taken the graphite rod, which is acting as a cathode. This is a graphite rod which we have sealed with the pitch seal. And then we have replaced the cap, that is a metallic cap. And here it is acting as the cathode. And then these two, anode and cathode, two electrodes. This is anode, this is cathode. They are separated by electrolytes, ammonium chloride and zinc chlorides. This is the electrolyte. Okay, I think I'll light like this. This is the part. Okay, this is the part of electrolyte. All this part, and this dotted line is representing this paste. dotted one, this is the graphite rod, which is, you can say, filled with this paste. This is a paste of, this is surrounded by this paste, manganese oxide plus carbon. Okay, this will also, you can say, be a part of the electrolyte. Okay, so now let's see the different reactions that are taking place here. Okay, so this is the diagram of the dry cell. Now let's write down the reactions at anode and cathode. So let's see. So at anode we have seen the container is made up of zinc. Okay, so here at anode oxidation takes place. At anode, this reactions that we are writing in a simplified manner. Otherwise the cell reactions are very, very complex. So the simplified, we are writing in the simplified form. Zinc, Zn2 positive and 2 electrons are getting lost. And at cathode, what is present? Graphite rod is present. So MnO2 is there, surrounded by that. And then electrolyte will take part. Ammonium ion will come from there. Fine. Then this will accept these 2 electrons and give rise to next compound of manganese, Mn2O3, plus ammonia will evolve and water gets formed. Ammonia will form in the form of gas. This is solid and this is also solid. This is aqueous. Okay, water gets formed here. So this I'll write it clearly. Mn2O3, it is a solid. Fine. So this is a reaction which is taking place at cathode. Now here the manganese compound has changes its oxidation from, here it is +4 to +3. Here it is 3. When you calculate 3 to the 6, then it's 2x, then it will be 3 only. Fine. Now the ammonia gas which is getting formed over here, it will not remain in the form of ammonia gas. It will react with the Zn2 positive ion and the chloride ion. Okay, and form the complex. Okay, it forms a complex with the ammonia and this. Otherwise, what will happen if complex is not getting formed? This is a complex of zinc. Otherwise, this ammonia gas, it will corrode the zinc container. So that's why as soon as it is getting formed, no longer remain in this the gaseous form, it will react with the zinc ions and the chloride ions from the electrolyte, and it will zinc ions from here and chloride from the electrolyte and gives the complex this. Now let's see what is the E naught of this cell. So these are the reactions at anode and at cathode. E naught of this cell is, as the ions are involved, so the E naught of the cell will not remain constant. It is having the variable range. So E naught of this cell is, cell voltage is 1.25 to 1.50 approx. This is the E naught of the cell. Okay. So this is about this cell, and the cell is not having, this cell is not having long life. Long life. As it corrodes, as you can say, zinc container gets corroded by ammonium. Although I told you that complex is getting formed, but still it is getting corroded by the ammonium chloride. Okay, so this is about the dry cell. Now let's see the second cell, that is the mercury cell. And this is corroded by this, as this is acidic in nature. That's why the corrosion is taking place. Let's see the mercury cell. So this is about the dry cell. We have seen the reactions at anode, at cathode, then E naught, and what are the different electrolytes and all. So let's see the next one, mercury cell. That is the primary cell only. Second is mercury cell. Now this is a cell which is used in like hearing aids. Used in hearing aids, watches, etc. Okay, here also anode is zinc, cathode is graphite rod, that is carbon. Then electrolyte is moist mercury oxide along with the aqueous KOH. This is the electrolyte here. Okay, and a lining of porous paper is there. Lining of porous paper, which keeps the zinc electrode separate from the electrolyte. Okay, now let's have a look on the reactions. As we have seen what is anode, what is cathode, and what is the zinc. Fine. So let's see the reactions at anode and cathode. At anode, that is only zinc is getting oxidized, but here it will react with the that is electrolyte also. So Zn OH minus from the electrolyte will give you zinc hydroxide, plus 2 electrons are getting lost. Okay, here zinc hydroxide, or we can also write in the form of this one, ZnS plus 2OH minus gives you ZnO. This is also solid, plus water plus 2 electrons are getting lost. Then at an cathode, moist mercury is there, mercuric oxide. Okay, because it is made up of graphite, so that will not participate. So instead of that, electrolyte will participate. We have seen in the electrolysis how the electrodes or electrolyte will react. So this will react as it is moist and gives you Hg. This is liquid here and this is solid here, plus this one. Okay, now we'll combine, we'll write the overall reaction, what you will get. Overall reaction. So ZnS reacting with HgO gives you ZnO S plus mercury. Because this will get cancelled out, this will get cancelled out, this will get cancelled out. So you will remain with this only. Now you just see in the final reaction, in the overall reaction, there is no ion. Okay, so if no ion is there, so you can say the concentration of the species involved, it will also not get changed, because only ions are, you can say, they can only change their concentration. Otherwise, if no ion is there, so the concentration will remain constant. So due to this, the E naught cell is having one fixed value. So that will not change, and it's not variable also. That is, E naught value is here 1.35 volt for this particular mercury cell. Okay, and you can say once the spell here one thing is there, that the spent cells can be processed so that mercury can be recovered. recovered from preventing its entry into the atmosphere. As we know that mercury is very poisonous. Okay, so spent cells can be processed so that mercury can be recovered from preventing its entry into the atmosphere, or it also prevents pollution in this way. So this is about the mercury cell. So two cells we have seen, that is primary cell, one is a dry cell and one is a mercury cell. So it's very simple, only you just need to remember what is anode, cathode, electrolyte, then the cell reactions and what is the overall reaction, and then what is the E naught. Okay, and what are its disadvantage and all that we have also seen. So this is about, and what are the uses. So this is all about the primary cell. Fine, in the next class we'll start with the secondary cells. Okay, till then, thank you.